Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Dr. Ron Godbolt. We're going to be discussing his amazing book, A Leader That Everyone Wants to Follow. Available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. And people, before I go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out that Ron was brought to our network by one of the best advertising firms in the business. And of course, I'm talking about CITI of Books. So listen to me. If you're a writer out there, you have a book that you've created, although you find yourself at a crossroads because you need help moving it and you don't know where to go. Well, I'm going to give you some fantastic advice. You got to contact CITI of Books. They're one of the best in the business to do it, and people, this is what they specialize in. Well, do yourself a favor. Head on over to cityofbooks.com today and gather all of the ways that they're going to help maximize your creative endeavors. And listen, it is a true pleasure, an absolute delight to have Ron here on the line. Now, right there in the title, I mean, there's no beating around the bush. You have an idea of the discussion that we're getting ready to have. But I promise you, an idea is all you have, because this book is much more than meets the eye. Yes, absolutely. Educational, self-help narrative. It's going to teach you how to be a leader that people want to follow or become an even better one if you already are. But in addition to that, not only is it a step-by-step guide, but it also utilizes Christian values as a foundation. So it's steeped in something that I know a lot of you can easily get behind, myself included. I'm telling you, this book is a fantastic resource that you're going to want to add to your shelf. I want to take it a step further. It's an even better gift that you can add to someone else's. And don't take my word for it. At the end of the day, take Ron's. It's his book. He's written it. He's done the research. And he's going to be able to articulate everything much better than I ever could. So do me a favor. Sit back, strap in, and have your notebooks ready, because the education you're about to receive is second to none. Ron, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest with us. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, the pleasure is all ours. I think what you're doing here is profound, and I think it's absolutely needed. We have a lot of followers in this world, Ron, and we don't have enough leaders. So I think this book is a wonderful resource that we're going to be able to pick up and utilize. Before we go into the book, though, I do want to start off by talking a little bit more about your background. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes. Well, I started working in education as a teacher in 1976. And then from there, I became assistant principal and retired officially 2006 as a principal. So I have a lot of years in the education system. And since retiring, I fill in as needed. I go in and fill in when there's an opening that needs somebody to help out. Mm-hmm. And I've done that since I retired in 2006 and just finished up a month out of school last month. So I'm still active. And I've been preaching since 1980, started pastoring in 1988, and still pastor even today. Me and my brother are co-pastor together. We have a church here in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
There you go. Listen, you know what I took from all that, people, is this is what he knows. When it comes to leadership, this man eats, sleeps, and breathes this stuff, okay? He has been doing it for quite some time, and I'm sure the words that we find on the pages, the tips that we find on the pages are tried and true. I mean, these are things that he, I'm sure, has implemented into his own practices and now is sharing with the world. Thank you very much for that, Ron. Without further ado, your book is called A Leader That Everyone Wants to Follow. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, sir. Well, I was inspired to write this book because of all the years of experience that I have in education and in ministry. And I wanted to do something that I use as a leader, the Christian principles. And then I learned from other leaders, things I've learned from them. So I can't take credit for everything in the book, but I've learned from other leaders. I've had good leaders to lead me. And so I wanted to encourage leaders coming up that something they could grab a hold to and kind of look at and maybe give them an aha moment to say, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Let me try that. Because leadership is a lonely walk, because a lot of times you're there and you can't talk to anybody. We say in ministry, you can't bleed on those you lead. So you can't really let them know that you're really frustrated, that you really don't know which way we're going. So you have to have some resources you can pull on, or people you can talk to that can encourage you that you're doing a good job and you need to keep going forward.
Yeah. You know, Ron, with this next question here, and I think it's safe to assume the answer to it, but you know what happens when you assume. So I'm not going to do that to you. I have you here on the line. Let's go directly to the source, man. Why did you feel compelled to write this book? Because, of course, this could have been information that you verbally told those around you, or even a book that you wrote but kept on your personal shelf. Why did you feel compelled or inspired to put it out for the public to partake in as well?
Well, it's my goal to try to help others. As I pour into others, I feel like I'm doing what God would want me to do. And so this was an opportunity as I write this book to help other leaders, because I work with a lot of them. Even now when I go into the school system, I work with a lot of young leaders, and they're having some struggles. And so my book, I hope, is a resource to them as they move forward. And then in ministry, you have so many pastors. Of course, being a pastor is a tough job, and the latest statistics say pastors are walking out the pulpit daily because of frustration. So these skills out from this book, I hope, would encourage them. Maybe I need to look at it a different way. Maybe I need to move at it a different way. And go forth in what they're called to do.
There you have it. People, again, we're here on the line with Dr. Ron Godbolt. We're discussing his amazing book, A Leader That Everyone Wants to Follow. Available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. Head on over there today and pick up your copies. You know, next question that I'd love to get into, Ron. And, you know, listen, as if we need any more of an incentive, guys, I just mentioned it. You got to purchase your copies. If you want to gather all of the helpful information, you know where to go. But since I have you here on the line, Ron, let's go directly to the source as an extra incentive, as a little bit more of a teaser for anybody out there that finds themselves wanting to become a leader, right? They find themselves in a follower's position currently, but they want to build up that leadership knowledge and status. What are some helpful tips? I mean, where does someone begin to start to switch that role?
Well, and again, I talk about some of this in my book, making sure you have a vision of where you want to go. My nephew did some drawing in this book for me, and I like he kind of went on his own, and I like the way he had this eyeglasses and having vision on there. So that's the key to going forth in leadership. You've got to have a vision of what you want to do as a leader. It's not just about getting in there so you can boss somebody. It's a vision, how you want to make this organization better, how you want to make this church better, how you want to be able to make a difference in the lives of other people that you are working with. So that's one of the keys that we talk about in the book. I also talk about being really grounded and praying, because prayer is talking to God, and who has more wisdom than God? So as we pray and talk to God, we get the wisdom that we need in order to be a great leader. And so those are the couple of things that I mentioned in this book that I hope would help people.
There you have it. You know, curiosity for myself here with this next one, Ron, but what would you say was a highlight for you in writing this book? Or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you during this process that you weren't anticipating before you began on it?
Well, when I started writing the book, I hadn't. I've done some things at schools I worked with, but I retired in 2006, so I started filling in at different schools. So I worked with different leadership teams at different schools. So in this process of writing my book, here I'm in a position that I can go to different schools and pick up some tips from other schools that I can put in my book. And of course, I try to give credit to them that I got it from. And I say to myself often when I do that, I wish I knew that when I was a principal. I probably could have beaten even better. So I think I'm helping other leaders because I'm out there in different schools, picking up different skills, and I'm sharing it through my book. And then hopefully they'll pick up on that. And even though they're not there, they can use that and really help their organization, help their church, help their school, or whatever group they're leading become even better.
Next question here, Ron, as we start to close out of this fantastic interview. I love having this platform to really be able to pay it forward. Now, I'm an artist myself. I'm in a different medium, but I always find ways, or at least try to look for ways to pay it forward to any other artists out there listening in. Now, in this instance, for writers out there, you are someone, whether you write any other books in the future or not, you are a bona fide author, man, because you've written your book, you've gone through the gauntlet of getting it published. So you have a lot of wisdom to offer here. For any new writers out there listening in, Ron, what are some words of wisdom that you can offer them about the journey they're getting ready to take?
Well, I've had two people really inspire me about writing this book. First of all, my son-in-law, Dr. Sonny Kelly, he's a storyteller, and he says everybody's got a story, that we can tell. And so that kind of inspired me with all these years of experience I had. Maybe I got a story. And my doctor, Dr. Hines, was my doctor, and I visited him a couple of times, and he would mind all what I was doing. And he said, you need to write a book. And he kept saying that about every time I visit him. You need to write a book because you got something that can help these other leaders. And so that's my point, that I want to be able to help other leaders become the best leaders that they can. And I think through my experiences and what I've seen and what I've dealt with and what I've learned could be a great help to them. And I would love to come do a leadership conference and share my book, and because there's more to this book than just what I got in writing. There's still more experiences that I have in me that I could share with leaders. So I'm open to share it any way I can, any platform that would open up to me.
Absolutely. Listen, people, imagine the type of world we would have if we all operated from that perspective. In terms of, listen, we have some information here that we know can help others. And we view things from that lens in terms of, let me put this information out to assist others in their particular journey. My goodness, I think there's not enough of that happening in today's world, where people just want to help out just for the sake of helping because they understand that they can have beneficial information to offer. Listen, if you're like me, you're already sold, okay? You are heading on over to Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You're getting ready to purchase your copies of the book as we speak. For everybody else, man, you got to wake up, okay? You're asleep, and if you don't wake up, you're going to get passed by. I'm going to say it for you one last time. The name of the book is A Leader That Everyone Wants to Follow. And of course, you have Dr. Ron Godbolt to thank for bringing this wonderful narrative to your table. Head on over there today. Get lost in all of the helpful information that he has to offer. You can thank me later. As I mentioned when we first began, this is a fantastic resource to add to your shelf. But do someone else a favor and get it to put on their shelf as well, because this is a fantastic gift. You know where to go. Ron, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much. You're excellent. You are excellent. You are an interview that everyone wants to follow.